Hi library friends, this is Miss Leanne from the Huntley Area Public Library. We're back with another fun craft video. Today we're going to be making some paper rocking bees, so let's get into the video. Supplies you need for today's craft. You're going to need a paper plate. I would recommend a paper plate that doesn't have the lip on it, because if yours has a lip on it, you will need to cut it, which would bring to, you need scissors, you need some glue sticks. I would recommend glue sticks instead of liquid glue because liquid glue will get messy, and glue sticks you can be more precise. You're going to need some paint, or you can use marker to color in the paper plate, but I decided to use paint. And then you're going to need some black construction paper and white construction paper. You're going to want to cut the paper plate. So my suggestion is you cut at 4 quarters. So you cut half, and then you're going to cut half. And then you're going to want to cut the quarters in half. Just like that. So that if you have small scissors, that they can move around the lip part. Now if you don't have a paper plate with a lip on it, and if you have that completely flat paper plate, that's perfect. I just didn't have that with me at my house today. So you're going to cut all the way around that circle. And then, as you can see, once you get to the slits, it comes off. So you don't have to keep trying to move the paper plate around when you're cutting it. Now what you're going to want to do is grab your paint and paint the paper plate. Alright, so we got our paper plate painted. It's still a little bit wet, but that's okay. Now what you're going to want to do is cut the paper plate in half. I would definitely recommend the paper plates that don't have the lip on it. But if all you have at home is the one with the lip on it, that's totally okay. And now what you're going to do is you're going to fold the paper plate. You can see how it's a semicircle. So it's half of a full circle. What you're going to want to do is fold the paper plate into a triangle. So how you do that is you fold one side in. Now you want the white side to be on the inside because you want the colored side to be on the outside. And then you're going to fold the other half on top of it, just like that. So that eventually it'll be able to stand on its own. So now what you're going to want to do is glue it. So what I recommend, if your paper plate is still wet, I would put If your paper plate is still wet, I would recommend putting a white sheet of paper. So this is the paper that I painted on. So what you're going to do is fold it down, and then you're going to want to glue this side. You could also glue this side just to make sure that it stays still. So we're going to glue it. If I can get this cap off. There we go. Alright, so I am going to glue this side because I want to make sure that this stays. So actually I'm just going to glue this whole back side. You want to put a lot of glue on it because you want to make sure that it stays. And now what you're going to do is fold it over just like that, and hold it there for a couple of seconds till that glue dries. So the glue is now dry. What you're gonna wanna do, what I noticed, is that since this is the paper plate with the lip on it, and I had to cut it, it's not a rounded edge, and it's also not even on the back side. So what you're gonna wanna do is grab your scissors, and you're gonna wanna cut so that both sides are matching, just so that you can get that rocking part of the paper B. So now you can see that it's a pretty round edge, and when you open it up just a little bit, the paper will stand. Now for the people that have the paper plate without the lip on it, you probably won't have to do this step, so you could probably skip this step. So since we cut the paper, the glue kind of the paper lifted up off of the glue, so we're just going to push it back down. And in the meantime, we're going to put that to the side to let it completely dry. And now what we're going to do is grab our black sheet of paper. And then what you're going to want to do is, let's see, you want to grab half of the circle that was painted, and you're just going to want to cut. So you're going to put it at the bottom and cut the round edge. You don't want to glue the paper plate to the paper, you just want it to measure the bottom, that's all. So try to cut it as neat as you can. Right. And as you can see, I do have a little bit of jagged edges right here, so I'm going to go back and trim it up just like that. And now what you're going to want to do is kind of finish the round up till the edge, and you're going to want to cut it in half, just like that. You want half of the circle of the black paper. Now what you're going to want to do is cut rounded strips of the black paper. You can cut them big, you can cut them small, you can cut them however you want. You probably just need about 3. And then what you're going to do with the rest of that black paper is you're going to cut out eyes and an antenna. So you're going to fold it in half where it kind of matches up. First you're going to cut the circle. We're going to cut the circle up here, leave some space for the antenna. So we got our 2 circles, and now we're going to cut our antenna. So you can cut your antenna however you would like. I'm going to cut mine kind of like a golf club. If you've ever seen a golf club, then you know exactly what I am talking about. Just like that. Gotta fix that up just a little bit. And then you're going to cut it in half right here. Gonna throw the scraps away. And now you have 2 antennas. So you got 2 antennas, 2 circles for the eyes, and 3 rounded strips. And then you're going to want to grab your white sheet of paper, and then you're going to want to fold it in half so you get 2 circles that are exactly the same. So this is going to be the white part of the eye, and since the white part is a little bigger, I'm going to put the black circle in the middle just to get, and then kind of just cut around the black circle. Now if you have googly eyes at home, that'll work perfectly. I did have googly eyes, but I unfortunately misplaced them, so I am just making my own eyes. So now we have 2 black circles and 2 white circles. Now we're going to bring our yellow body back. And now what we're going to do is place, so I'm going to do the biggest on the bottom and then go towards the littlest. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find the center of your strip of paper. So I kind of crease it just a little bit. And you're going to want to match it up to the point. And if it's not perfect, that's okay too. Alright, so we're going to match it up, wrap it around the back of the bee, and you'll see what we're going to do. So you're going to want to cut it just a little bit so you can get that other sheet around it. And then you're going to want to make sure you get that crease at the sides. And then you want to flip it to the back. And when you flip it to the back, you're going to want to fix it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, actually, this is pretty good, but I'm going to cut some extra paper off of it. So you're just going to cut, it's just whatever you eyeball, basically, or however you want your bee to be. So my bee is going to turn out like that, and the back side is going to look like that. So you can keep fixing it up a little bit as you go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take it off the body of the bee. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to kind of fold it down like that. I find this the easiest way. And then I'm going to flip it over and kind of, let's see. And then cut it so that the back side of the bee is even. So like that. Now what you're going to want to do, so you're going to want to keep that painted paper on your table because we're going to use it as our gluing plate or gluing station, whatever you want to call it. So I would recommend on getting all of your strips measured out the way you want it. So as you can see, when you put it back onto your bumblebee, and you glue it back on your bumblebee, it looks like one consecutive line. So now you're going to want to figure out where you want your next line. So since this one's pretty thick, I'm going to actually use a thinner one. So I'm going to use that thinner one that I cut up. And I'm going to wrap that around the top of my bee. So I'm just going to be using 2 stripes. You can use as many stripes as you want. So you get that crease in, then you take it off your bumblebee and kind of match the back up. Now for this one, I'm going to just snip that little tail to go along with the back side, and the same thing with this side. And then I'm going to curve that just a little bit so it turns out like that. So you can put on the third strip, but I think that might be a little bit too much. So what we're going to do is take our strips off of the bee, and then we're going to glue the whole thing. Same thing with this one. So you want to make sure that you have the strips cut out perfectly so you don't have to go back and forth. So we're going to do the small one first. Okay, grab our bumblebee and put it right about there. Turn it around. Still gonna try to match up those lines. Just like that, and if you need to, you can scooch that stripe down. Just mess around with it until you get it to exactly where you want it. So that's perfect right there. So you can see we got our strip, and if there's a little bit hanging off, what you're going to do is just pinch it in. Just like that. Now we're going to put on our next stripe. So, since this one's a little bit thicker, I'm going to have to go back and do the edges that I missed. So grab that one and put it on our B where we want it. And then fold it around the back side. Just like that. So you got your stripes on now. Now what you're going to want to do is put on your eyeballs. So put the glue on the black first. Place the black onto the white, wherever you want it to be. Do the same thing with the other one. So put some glue on the black and put it down on the white. And now you're going to glue the eyeball to the bee. So my eyeballs are going to hang off just a little bit. You can place the eyeballs wherever you would like. So I put my eyeballs right there, and then you're going to want to glue the antennas on the back side. So you're going to want to stick the bottom of the antenna through the glue. And remember, the antennas are going to be facing the opposite way, so you want to make sure you're flipping the other antenna. so that it turns out like this. And then now what are we missing? Right, we are missing the wings for the bee. So what you're going to want to do is go back to your white paper, and you're going to want to cut out wings. Just like that. And you're going to glue it on right there. Now, if you want to color the wings or design it, you're going to need a pencil. And now what you're going to want to do is just kind of draw some netting kind of however you want to. And remember, part of it isn't going to be seen, so you don't have to go all out. You're going to want to draw the wings however you want. I know my wings don't look the best, so it doesn't need to be perfect. And then you're just going to glue the wings to the back of it. So you're going to want to glue it like kind of right between the eyes. So I'm going to put the glue on the side that I drew on. So I'm just going to put that in the center of my wings. And then I'm just going to plop it right underneath the antenna right there in the middle. So you can adjust it so that you know that it's centered. And now we have our bee. And to make it stand up on a table, or to make it rock, what you're going to want to do is kind of put your fingers on the inside of the paper plate, kind of open it up a little bit, just like that, and then stand it on top of the paper. Here's a different angle of the bee. You can turn it into whatever you want. It can be an animal or it can be a person. Try it out at home, be creative, and let us know at the library how yours turned out. Thanks for watching. Make sure you log on to huntleylibrary.org for all your digital content you have access to with your library card. And if you like the video, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you watch our other videos that we have. We have some teen crafternoons and we have some story times. And if you come into the library this week, the stamped password is bumblebees. And we'll see you soon. Bye!